And I'm going to share a repair that I've got in, which is a Mexican Stratocaster, and it's had a refret done, but it was a bit of a rust job, so a lot of chips and stuff and some frets that are not level. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to tackle that, level the frets, and get this playing nicely. I'm Dave with Stringing It Together, and let's dive in. So this guitar has been sitting for a while, but the customer, he had all these jumbo frets put in, but they're kind of sloppily done, and there's frets that are popping up all over the place. So when I did my initial check for all of the frets, I realized that there was a bunch that were popped. I've already hammered them all down, and they're still not seating properly. So that's where I'm going to go to my next step. And normally I wouldn't do this, but since I want to fill these gaps and I don't really know what's underneath there, I'm going to actually just glue every single one of these frets, which is a bit of a job, but I'll show you the process. And the other reason I'm doing that is because I want to fill the chips that are in there. So I'm going to use super glue to, one, allow the whatever space might be underneath there to fill that space, hold those frets in tight so the ends are popping up. Now it's also going to help to fill all those chips, which you can maybe see in this shot here. So normally I would put down something called soft paste wax, and that's going to protect the fingerboard a little bit, make it a little bit easier for the glue to come off. But since I want this glue to actually fill those gaps and stick in there, then that's why I'm just putting a big glob on there. And for my gluing jig, I have this set up here, which is a flexible piece of plexiglass, and then I have thick strips which sit on the outside of the frets, and then a very thick piece of plexiglass on the top that doesn't bend. So what this does is when I push the clamp down on top, the flexible piece on the bottom will bend to match the radius of whatever fret that I'm clamping it down to. And then I just have to make sure that I'm adding equal pressure all along the jig here. When I'm cleaning up that glue, I'm just scraping towards the fret, and then a nice gentle scrape along the corner to get that final little bit. And don't worry too much about the roughness at this point. I typically do that all at once, so I'll go over it with 400 sandpaper if I need to, just to scuff out any marks. And then I'll go along with the 600 sandpaper, which you can pretty much just go back and forth, and it doesn't really matter. Even if you touch the frets, it doesn't really matter. And it's going to still look a little bit rough at this point, but once you clean it up and add in the oil, that'll clean out the dust from the pores. So now that I've got the frets all glued, then I can do my level. Now it's very important to make sure that your frets are seated before you level, because if not, you'll run over it with the level, it'll go down, and then when the level's off, it'll pop back up and it's high again. And then you're taking off material that you don't need to. So if you're totally new to this, I've got a whole beginner-friendly method that will show you how to level one fret at a time and start to begin to do fret levels. If you don't know what you're doing with the truss rod, or how to assess the neck, then it's probably a better idea to start there. You can find that in the description below. Put in your email and it's yours. It's called Foolproof Fretwork. But I'll just give you an overview of kind of the way that I would tackle this. So assuming that if I've got the neck totally straight, then I can use a large leveling beam, something like this, which is an actual level but with sandpaper attached to it. Or you can work in threes. So you can do this third here, this third, and then the upper third. Now, if I have to hog off a lot of material, I'll typically go for my file, which is just a mill file attached to a piece of wood. And then, if not though, in this case, because these are new frets, I don't want to take off a ton of material, I just want to take off the high bits, then I might use something like this block, which is perfectly flat on the bottom. It's actually just a piece of oak with a bit of sandpaper attached to it. It's a hardwood. I know that it's perfectly flat because I made it perfectly flat. Start at this end, middle, and then at the top. And it's always better to start at this end because you don't want to taper going from this side. You always want it to taper down this way. So a good way to test to see if you've done the gluing right is if it rocks, and it still rocks when you press down really hard on it, then that means you know that this is properly seated. And you can mark it off with a Sharpie if you want, but you can also see which ones are high by just running this along it. Not putting any downward pressure, I'm just going lightly back and forth, letting the sandpaper do the work. So you can clearly see the pattern here, that it's coming off there, there. Now if I'm going to put my fret rocker on there, I can rest assured that that is a high point, whereas something like this is not. So you don't even necessarily have to mark it off, even though it can be helpful when you're just learning. I'm always going to be a little bit more aggressive on this side than I am with the other side. If it's just a couple frets left that you need to take off, then to save from taking off more material, I've already taken off more than I want to here, I'm going to use this tool here, which is just a prism with sandpaper facing up and sandpaper facing down. That way you know it's a perfectly flat surface. Now I'm going to use that on the high frets here, and the good thing about this is it will stop when when the fret's perfectly level. I've got a whole other video with this if you want to check out how to actually make it. So once I've gone over all of the really high ones and knocked them off, I always like to double check. And at this point, I don't want to take off any more material than I already have. So I just go through and see if I can find any just slight little bits of rocking. So see, like this one's good, slightly rocking. If I press down on it, on the end it still rocks. That's good because it means it's seated properly. And all it is just this tiny little nub at the end here that just needs to be knocked off. So in this case, I'm just going to go over it with like this. And on this side too. That'll just take off that tiny little bit. All it takes is like a 1/1000th of an inch. Sometimes when it's perfectly flat, you can almost feel like a suction cup motion with the fret rocker. Maybe not a suction cup, but more like you can feel the friction, as opposed to sometimes, even though it's not rocking and you just kind of turn it side to side, you can feel that there's more or less friction on the sides, whereas if it's perfectly flat, you can really feel it. And then once they're all nice and level, I usually just do a quick little pass with my long sanding beam, which this one is actually 400 grit. So what that does is it kind of just polishes the top. It doesn't really take off much material. If there's any that are just a hair high, it will kind of nick those off. But mostly just polishing the tops. That way it's save me time later. Again, not putting any downward pressure on it. I'll show you my whole crowning process on this fret here. So we've got a few different options. Usually my go-to is this 3-corner file from Stuart McDonald. So it's just a 3-corner file that's straight, and it's got that smooth edge on the back. So what that does is it allows you to run it smoothly along something. You can't necessarily run it along your fingerboard. You have to use a fingerboard guard, but it will also be fine with just 1 or 2 pieces of tape along here to run along. Now you can make a homemade one like this, and I've got a video for that if you want to check that out, which is just a $8 Nicholson file with the edge ground off. What I bought recently is this more typical rounded crowning file. So it has these rounded inner parts here, the concave parts in different sizes. I find they're a little bit not the most accurate. I just labeled this one M. That's usually my go-to. So the typical process that I use now is I'll actually start it off with this Baroque file, because what I can do is just nick at the edges. Now, this is only if I've hogged off a lot of material like this fret here, but I can start it and it'll just kind of get the process started nice and easy on the hands. So if I have to do a lot of work in a day, then this kind of saves my hand from getting a little bit sore. And then, as you can see, it's just kind of starting off the process. I might go a little bit farther, just taking off the edge of that fret. And you could do the whole fret with this crowning file, but I find the problem that I have with it is it doesn't leave a fine enough line in the middle. You have to be careful with this one not to go too far, because it will take off the top of the fret, but that's doing an okay job. And then I'll switch to my 3-corner file just to kind of finish it off, because I can get a nice tight radius and a really fine point at the top with this. And I find it just, once I've got it started, it kind of goes a little bit faster with this one, since I've taken off a lot of material. making sure to clean it every 3 or 4 passes. The more you stop and clean it, the better, because then you have less scratches to deal with. So once you've got a reasonably thin line there, then I like to switch to my 3-corner file here, which is just a prism with sandpaper attached to it. And I've got, I think, a 320, a 400, and a 600. So the 320 is what will help you kind of thin out that line to almost nothing. And then you can kind of polish up the sides with the 400 and the 600 if you want to go really crazy with it. Any little marks there can be taken care of with this. Probably similar to the Stuart McDonald fret eraser, I imagine. I'll give you a close-up here. You can kind of see that really thin line there that's left, and you're going to want to take care of that. Depending on how rough that top is, start with a 400. So this is a good example because I accidentally put a scratch. I made a mistake. I was getting impatient with my 3-corner file here. So in this case, I'm going to go down to 400 grit and just rub along the top there. So with the 400, you have to be a little bit careful about not taking off too much material, but in general, it's not going to be too much. So I'm just going to work this down until I can get that scratch out. So then once you're happy with the top, then you can switch to a 600 grit, and that'll kind of polish it out and also reveal if there's any scratches. So if you notice any scratches at this point, you're going to go back to the 400, back to the 600, and then once you notice that it's buffing out with the 600, then you can switch to some steel wool, and that'll do a little final polish. So it's not perfect in terms of those chips. Like, I think if I wanted to fill them a bit better, I could scrape some sawdust in there and drop fill some super glue in there. But in terms of the playability, now these frets are perfectly level, nice and crowned. They're going to be nice and easy to bend the strings on. There's not going to be any friction on there because we've gone up so high with the sandpaper. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. So this was a bit more intense than I would normally go, just because the frets were so uneven that I kind of had to go with the lowest fret. But if you're really feeling overwhelmed and you want to get started on this, I definitely recommend checking out Foolproof Fretwork. Put in your email, and that'll give you access to the videos where you can create an account and ask me questions as you go through them. You really will notice a big difference if you put in the time with the crowning and the polishing, as I showed you. It's getting that really thin line and then doing the polishing this way and this way, starting with the lower grit, going up to the 600, and then micro mesh if you want to, or steel wool. And you'll really notice the difference on those bends. It'll just feel like nothing. There's no friction. Now this guitar obviously has another problem, which is that buzzing that you're hearing. And I think I'll save that for another video. I put out a video every week, so hit that subscribe button and you get notified, turn on notifications, and you'll see that video come out. If you want to learn how to set up a Strat, you can check out this next video. If not, I'll see you next week.